As I've kind of hinted here, the liver qi and the eyes are dynamically connected. From a Chinese point of view, the outlet of the liver is the eyes. The acupuncture meridians go right there. So if you have a person who doesn't have luster in their eyes, that's indicating they have a problem with their liver yin or liver blood phenomena. If women even knew that they're going to have sexier eyes by making sure their liver health is proper, they might not drink alcohol, or they might take more attention to their liver stagnation. Gee, you don't think so?
I think they would still drink plenty of alcohol. Eyeliner for that there.
Oh, eyeliner, okay. But it's really the fluids. So lots of times when a person has dry eye, it's actually a fatty acid problem, as we've talked before. So we consider that lubrication of those oils there. Contrary to popular opinion, it's not just the fluids in the eyes. It's not just the saline solution of the water in the eye. There's a little oil slick that goes over that area to be able to make sure the eyes don't drop out. So eyeliner can give a fake luster to an eye, but it can't give that tingle in the eye, because that actually has to do. But the average guy or the average gal is not going to notice it anyway. They're going to miss it.
And healthy eyes won't make you drunk.
Healthy eyes won't make
you drunk.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah, that's true.
It's funny, they often describe drunk people as glassy eyed.
Which is lack of luster.
Lack of luster is shiny, glossy?
Not shiny. I wouldn't say it's almost opaque-ish. Like it's a lack of energy.
I don't know if I've observed it myself, but I've read a lot, like glassy-eyed.
Yeah, glassy-eyed is...
They look shinier.
Huh?
Kind of staring. Yeah, and like kind of not all there.
Geez, I guess you guys are much more observant of drunks than I am. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm a bartender.
Oh yeah, of course.
No, I know how when it cuts them off when they fall down the stairs and bring them into my bar.
So, literally, several eye conditions can be directly related to how the liver functions, is what I'm really trying to say here. So, if I find that along with excessive menstruation or scanty menstruation and or ligament muscle issues, we can tie this all back to the central shipper receiver, the liver, yes?
Would it just be a moistness, or would it be like if you had astigmatism or just like nearsighted, farsightedness, could that also be?
D, any of the above.
Oh, right.
So, yes, various eye vision has to do with how the liver works. So it's not just a dryness of the eye, that's part of it.
Okay.
But everything from cataracts all the way through to farsightedness, nearsightedness, stigmatism can directly relate to how the liver works. That doesn't, and again, as Freud says, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Sometimes it's just an optic nerve function, or sometimes just an eye function, or maybe they concentrated too much. Let's say they read too much. That could create an eye problem in itself, not necessarily related to the liver. That's why you'd have to literally create a rubric or look at the other symptoms, do a repertorization to see if they relate too. And all the things I've talked about with the menstruation are just as functional with male prostate problems. I'll have an awful lot of guys who come in with what appears to be a prostate issue, and it is, but it's really a liver problem. You clean out the liver, get the liver function, and sometimes, again, that's just as simple as doing a detox. But lots of times it could be 4 to 6 months of using liver herbs on a regular basis. I might just give them billy herb over the winter. It will work. It's really pretty good, but it's not as economical and it's not as effective as drinking dandelion root tea. If I can get a person to do that on a regular basis, or there's a lot of the mushrooms. Chaga is really good for this. Coriolis is fantastic for this. So to be able to drink some of those mushroom teas or take the mushrooms on a regular basis will also help it.
Oh, and one question about the last slide.
Yeah?
The second point, when the eyes feel dry and gritty, there may be liver deficiency?
Oh, sorry. There may be too much liver yang. Liver yang heats things up and dries fluids out. Too much liver yang. So again, to remind yourself, when you have liver yang or liver heat, it's like a fire and it's wood and it creates smoke going up. So that can cause the migraine headaches. It can cause the dryness in the eyes. It can cause dryness in the ligaments. On the energetics point of view, we can also see that the liver controls how a person's life journey works. This is not just metaphorical, it actually can be an actual function of going on a journey. But if a person's liver yin is deficient in hung, the person becomes restless, confused, they have this kind of floating, ungroundedness type feeling, because the liver is the thing, this wood that roots you to the ground to a degree. So you have an awful lot of people who are kind of going through their life journey kind of confused. It can be just as much the liver as it can be a neural problem. Liver qi stagnation, as I pointed out, has an awful lot to do with expression of emotions. It also can have a feeling of self-esteem, inhibitions, and as I pointed out before, it can deal with those angry, jealousy, competition, things like that. But these people often have anorexia, hiccups, nausea, vomiting, distension, pain in the abdominal area, diarrhea. All of these would be various things that we could find there. Sometimes they'd be depressed, melancholy. Again, that has to do with the blood supply. We'll find gynecological problems like dysmenorrhea, PMS, breast tenderness. So the lumps in the breasts are a fatty acid problem often, which again is controlled by the liver. Some forms of liver cancer are directly related some forms of breast cancer are directly related to liver function because they didn't have the proper fatty acids. They ended up having cysts. They're usually benign, no problem. But if they go on with deeper emotions over a period of time, they can become cancerous. Especially if there's a problem between phase 1 and phase 2, and they're gotten these highly reactive oxidants going into their blood system, and it's replacing the oils in those areas. You have those reactive chemicals going to the breast area, and that could cause that could cause breast cancer. Usually in this case, when we have liver qi stagnation, the tongue looks all right. It's not a liver heat issue yet, but their pulse is very wiry. Does everyone know what I mean by a wiry pulse? It's kind of like it's thin, it's dramatic, it's kind of like a tight guitar string in a way, or a wiry string. That's a fairly common pulse. And unfortunately, Don, it's pretty hard to do your own pulse. You can tell to a degree, but it's almost necessary for another person to do the pulse. But this wiry pulse is extremely common. Again, I find it more common in businessmen than I find in other parts of our culture, but you'll find it really an awful lot, finding that wiry pulse. I bet you if you go through my charts, you would probably see it written down at least 20% of the time. When there's so many other types of pulses there can be, wiry pulse being there 20% of the time, that's huge. So again, what we do is we have to disperse and regulate the qi from the liver. So you have to move it away. It's heating up, but you don't just try to cool it down. You try to disperse the blood, disperse the energy going into other areas. Some of the botanicals that are really good for that are bohea, or kind of almost a peppermint, bluperium specific. And we get into the remedies, you'll find major and minor bluperium formulas that are very useful for this. A few of the citrus things, the peonies are really good for this.